Yeah, hello there and welcome back, and let us continue with our lesson over here. And once we have created our state, next step will be to move on to the controller, and let's create a new file over here, and that will be of the ToDo add controller, controller.the.file. And we will require one more controller that will be of the to underscore contro controller.the.file. So we'll have a two controller over here. So let's go to the to add controller first of all, and let's create a class, and that will be of to add controller, and we will require the cubit over here. So we'll extend it with the cubit cubit over here, cubit cubit, and over here we will just pass in our state. So we need to pass in the state that will be of the to add the cubit, add the state over here, to add state. And once we are done with that, let's go and create the final field that will require. We will require a dependency over here that will be I to do service. We'll require the service over service service, right? And that will be of the I or the to do service over here. And we are good to go. And I guess I need to import this one, and I can't find that. So let's go and check on to the application. What was the name? So I to do service. So just copy this one, and let's try to paste it over here, and let's try to import that one, and we are good to go. So let's have the constructor for this one, to add a controller, and in the constructor we'll require this dot underscore to do service, and we'll call the super from here, and we just need to pass in the const of the to add state over here. And I guess we are good to go with that. And let's create our function. So first of all, we'll create a function to add. So we need to call the API add to do over here, and with this function, let's make this one as the asynchronous function. And over here, let's go and add some value. So let's make use of our try catch block over here too. And on the failure, first of all, let's catch the failure. This is what we are returning, failure, right? So this is what we are returning. And on failure, what we will catch over here, and we will update the state. So let's update the state. We have to use the emit over here, since we are using a cubit, and we have a state dot copy with, and with this copy with, I can set the error message over here first of all, and then the error message will be of the e dot, we have the message over there. And you can also set some of the other properties, maybe when we are okay. So let's go over here and let's try to arrange this one properly. So with this error message, and I also will set the value, some value over here that will be of the each loading, right? So we also need to set this loading to be false over here, and that should be good. And let's go over here, and in the try block, first of all, we will emit this state. That will be emit or state dot copy with, and here we will set its loading, right? So first of all, we want to say there is a loading state to be true over here. And once we have that, now we will just check if there is already okay. So let's go and call the API first of all. So we will say we will return a result, which is of equals to await, and then I need to call the ToDo service over here, dot add the ToDo over here, and I need to pass in the body. So the body will be our we already have the form data, right? So that will be from the state dot the form data over here. So we need to fill in the form data before we can pass in over here. And once we have that, let's go down over here and let's create a function where we can set our form data. So let's create the void and set the form data. So this function we need to call from the UI, and here we will pass in the required field for a string of the key and the value. So string key, and we'll also require the that will be of the dynamic dy and a mic dynamic type of value over here, key and the value. And once we have that, we can update the state. So emit the value over here, that will be of the state dot copy with, and here we will update our state. So what state we need to update is the form data. So let's say currently the form data it will be of the form data that we have. What we'll do is we'll update we need to map it. So we will just add into we'll get the previous data. So stat state dot the form data that we previously have, and then we will add in the new field over there. So let's add in the spread operator. We'll use the spread operator and add in the new, that will be of a key and the value that we are getting in. So this will update our form data state, right? So I guess that should be good to go over here. And also let us set the one more function below this one, that will be of the void over here, and set each added, right? So set I each added, and we'll take in the bool from here and then the value. And once we have that, we'll update the state. So emit and state dot the copy with, and we'll copy the each loading, we'll just set it to be the false over here, and then we will also set the each added to be the value that we will pass in over here. And I guess we are good to go. We can make this one as a private. Maybe we will be not calling this one from the UI or our screen. And let's go on to the top over here. So we have filled in the form over here. That should be good to go. And let's go down over here, and let's set the underscore. We have the set each added over here, and we need to pass in the value. So value will be result dot the id. So if the result dot id is greater than equals to of the 1, which means that we have added that value. So we will just pass in over here. So this is the add function that we have. And let's go over here, down over here. We may also need to clear this state. So let's go and void, and we'll say clear, let's say clear this state, in case you want to manually clear some of this state. So we'll just emit the value over here, and let's emit, and let's set the state dot copy with, and with this copy with, let us set some of the values. So I can just set each added, or first of all let's make use of each loading to be false, and each added to be also false over here, right? And let's close this one, and let's arrange this one with properly over here. So it's added to be false. And I guess we can also add some more, that will be of the let's say a to do status, we can also set it to be false over here. And then we have the form data. We can also clear it out and make it as empty over here. So that should be, I guess, good to go. And also we need one more functionality over here, so that may be on top of this one. So it will be of the void set the ToDo statu status, because we need to send the status. And over here let's go and add the functionality to emit our value. That will be of the state dot copy with, and we'll pass in the ToDo status, and that will be of the value va. Okay, I need to pass in the value over here, so bool the value over here, and that will be of the value itself over here. And also once we update the ToDo status, we will basically put the checkbox or the switch, and for that we will pass in the, we need to update our query. So whatever we are passing in over here, right, in the form data, we need to pass in the status too. And for that, let's just set the form data from here too. So we need to pass in the key and the value. That will be of the status, and then the value that we'll be passing in is the we need to pass in the value. So we need to pass in the string over here, but we are getting the value. So value, if it is a value of a true, then we'll just pass in the 1, because the in the API we need to pass in the 1 or the 0 for the true or the false value, and that should be of the else part. Okay, so we are good to go, I guess, with that. And let's close it over here. And once we have this ready, so let's copy this code from here, and let's go to the ToDo controller and let's paste it over here. And what we need to do is we just need to rename the class name ToDo controller and ToDo controller over here, and the state that we need to change it. So that will be of the ToDo state, not the add state over here, and also over here. And let's import this class over here, and we are good to go. So I can remove this unused package from here, and we are good to go. So now we have a ToDo controller that still takes the ToDo service over here, and we don't need the functionality of the add over here. That will be to get the ToDos over here. So this will return us the list. And let's go down over here. We need to call the get ToDos over here, and we need to pass in the ID, the user ID. So currently we don't have the authentication, so let's just manually pass in the user ID of the 1 for now. And after that, what we can do is let's just remove this one, and we will emit the value over here, which means that let's go and set the state dot I can set the copy with, and with the copy with we have the ToDos over here, right? So this is the list of the ToDos, so I can just get it from the result dot the ToDos over here. And also I can set the its loading to be of the false, and that should be good over here. Just close it over here. So now we are emitting the value of the true whenever we are calling the API. And once we get the value back from the API, and if we don't have the failure, then we'll just update the list of the ToDos and set the its loading to the false over here. And then we also have to emit the error state over here in case you want to catch the error over here. And the next step is to let's go down over here and let's create the another function, right? And that will be on to the refetch it. So if you want to refetch, if you want to clear this data and you want to refetch the record, that means like when you add the new record and you want to refetch that particular whole list back. So what we can do is we can create the new function over here. Let's call this one as the void refresh, or maybe a refresh the to-dos over here. And over here what we can do is emit the value state dot copy with, and first of all I'll set the value of the to-dos to be of the empty, so which means that I'll clear out the not the to-do, it should be of a to-dos to be empty. So this means that the previous record of our to-dos should be removed, and we will again call our get to-dos function, right? And that should be good over here. And this will be useful later on if we go to the navigate to the add screen, and then we added a record, and then when we come back, we want to when we come back to the list of our to-dos, we want to refresh that one, right? So that should be the one. And let's copy the this one from here, and we need to get a single to-do over here. So let's go down over here and let's paste it over here. Let's get the single to-do over here. And first of all, we need to have a emit of the loading state true. That is fine. And we need to get the single to-do over here, and we need to pass in the ID. So ID will be we will be passing in over here, so int ID. So this is when we click the list item in our list, we will pass in the ID over here, and based on that ID we want to get the single or the detail of that particular to do over here. And once we have that, what we need to do is we need to set the form data, right? So later we can update it. So once we fetch that particular detail, we will fill in the form data, and based on that form data, later we will send the updated value. So let's go over here, and before we emit the value, I'll just say the final let's say a form data that we have will be of equals to the we need a map over here, right? And with this map, what will this will fill in all of the required field. So what I require is the ID that we need to pass in to the API, and that will be of the result that we have dot the ID dot to string string. So let's grab that one over here, and we also will just duplicate that one. So this will be of the user ID over here, right? And this one will be of the user underscore ID over here. And let's have the another one that will be of the title, and it will be of the title itself, and we don't require the to string over here, and that it's already a string. And we will have the body over here, and that will be of the body itself. And here we will have the note, and that will be of the key will be of the note. And also we will have two more. Let's go down, and that will be of the created add, right? And this will be of the created add, and here will be of the created, not the created, it should be of the updated underscore add, and that will be of the updated add, and we are good to go. So now we have the form data that we can represent on later when we send back the updated value back to the API. And we also have the function to set the state or status over here, right? So what we can do is, here we haven't set the status, because on the status we have to set either the 1 or 0. We cannot set the true or false, because here we are returning a true or false from our service layer. So let's set the value of the to-do status, and we'll pass in the value over here that will be of the result dot the status. So this is a boolean value, we'll just pass in over there. And once we are good with that, we need to emit our state, and let's set the state over here. and the state will be, let's rename or let's arrange this one properly. First of all, I'll set the not the to dos, that will be of the to do over here, because we are just getting a single value from the API. Result dot, I guess it's okay, it's the result itself, that will be our single value because this is our to do item. And we'll set the form data over here. I guess we can add it below this one. So form data will be of the form data that we have over here, and then it's loading to be the false. And on the error message, we just have to set that each error message, and then it's loading to be the false. And another step is, once we get this value, so we have to get the single, we have to get the list, and another function that we require will be to update, right? So what we need is, we need to update our, so just copy this one from here. We need to update the call the API to update the value. So let's go and paste that one below over here, and let's rename the function name to update the to do over here, and we don't have to pass in any int value over here. And let's go and set the, first of all, it's loading to be the true over here, and we need to call the update to do, and we need to pass in the data, right? So the form data will be of the state that we have, state dot the form data that will be passing into the API. We also have fill in that over here, and later we also will fill in whenever we update the value. So once we have the result over here, what we will do is, let's remove this one. We don't require it for now, just remove that from here. And I will get the final old data. We need to get the list of the old data from the state. So state dot the old state dot the, not the old data, it should be of state dot the to dos. So this will give us the current list of the to dos over here. And once we have the list of the to dos, just remove this one. We don't have to update the status over here, and we can emit the value. So we need to update our the currently existing value over here, right? So we have updated it from here, and we can also update, once we get the value, we will also update the current list over here, because this will just return us the single to do item, not the list of the to dos. So how we can update it, let's go over here, and we can set the to dos over here, and to dos is the list. So let's go and add in the list, and I will look into the for loop over here for final item in the old item. So this is our list over here, right? So once we have the old items item, I will check if the condition, so I can check if the item that we currently have dot the ID is equals to the result that we have. Result is the to do items dot the ID. If the ID matches, then we need to update that, because we have updated that particular value. So how we can update is item dot copy with, and I can update the all of the item inside this. So here I can update the ID. I don't have to update it. I may have to update the user ID, that will be of the result dot the user ID, and I may also need to update the title, that will be from the result dot the title. And let's duplicate this one, and let's update the title, and then the body, this will be of the body over here, and here will be of the note, sorry, N-O-T note, and this one should be of the note 2. And we'll also update the status. Let's say this status will be of the status over here, and then what we can also do over here will be updated add, and let's say result dot the updated. So you may just try to update other items over here, but now for just keep it as simple over here. And once we have that, if it's not, then just in the else part we'll just go and return the item itself, and will not update it. And then what we'll do is ToDo will be the result that we are getting in. And then I guess we don't have to set the form data over here, so just remove it from here, and we'll set the each loading to be false. And also we need to set each update to be true over here, because we have updated the value. And later we may want to show a dialog message or the toast message, right? So we can use that particular value. And on the failure, and that should be fine. So we have to set the each updated to be the false itself over here. And I guess it's not required, but let's just add it to the false in case we require it later. And I guess that should be the one. And the next step will be to delete the ToDos. So let's go over here and let's copy this whole function from here. This is to the update, and we also need a function to delete. So let's go over here and let's rename this one to delete functions. All right, so let's rename this one to be delete the ToDos. And here we'll take the int of the ID and also int of the user ID. So we need to pass in the node ID as well as the user ID that we want to delete. And first of all, we'll just have the state is loading to be true. That's fine. And over here we need to send the delete, and the delete requires the map. All right, so just remove this one from here, and let's create that map over here. So what we need to pass in, so currently let's say a final queries queries that we have. And with this queries, what we'll send is equals to the I need to send in the first of all the ID that will be from the ID that we are passing into the, let's pass it to as a string over here. And another one we will send in the user underscore the ID, and that will be the value of the user ID that we are passing in, dot the to string over here. And once we have that, we are good to go. And let's just pass in that the query over here. So that should return us the boolean value, so whether we have successfully deleted or not. And for that we don't require this, all of this. Just remove this one from here, and let's remove this code from here too. And I guess let's remove that, and I will set the value first of all each deleted to be true over here, and its update is not required, and its loading should be of the false. So I guess that should be the one. And then the result that we currently have, I guess it should be here, so it's deleted, so we will update that over here. And I guess that should be fine over here. So let me arrange this one properly, and I guess we can arrange this one too over here in just a single line, so we don't require a multiple line for that one. And over here too, let's just have it over here. And let's go down over here, and we don't require each loading over here, so we can replace this one. Okay, we don't require each update, we don't each deleted. I guess we don't require that, but let's just add in to be safe. And once we have that, I guess we are good to go. Let's go down. We have a status that we will require. We'll require one more function, void set each enabled. So that will be of the whether we want to enable a user to edit that particular value or not. So later we will enable or disable the field for user to edit. So for that, let's just emit a value over here. So state dot the copy with, and with this I'll just say each read only. So if the field is read only, we will just set not the state, we'll just toggle it to the each read only. We'll just toggle that one, so that should be good. So it set is enabled, and I guess that should be the one. So to do status, and then we have to set the form data, and each added is not required, so maybe we will require a different one. So let's just remove this one from here, and then we have option to clear the state. So I guess it should be of each updated, and also we have a option to set is to each, sorry, it should be of the each deleted, right? So each deleted over here, and also I guess we have some more that will be of the each read only to be also of the false, and I guess status and the form data, and whether you want to set like a to-dos that we have over here to be of the empty list over here itself. So you can set the clear, and I guess we need a one more value to set our each scrolling. So I can also set that one over here, which is of the each scrolling or each fetching, and also we have the each scrolling to be of the false. And I will just create one more function over here that I guess would be the final one that we require, void. We also need to set the each scrolling, so whether we want to know whether we are or the user is scrolling our list view. And we'll just emit over here, and we'll just say state dot the copy width, and with this copy width I'll just say it's scrolling to be the we'll just make it as okay, so let's state that we have dot it's scrolling, and scrolling, and let's just make it as a not value over here, and this will help us to switch the whether it's scrolling or true or false. And let's go over here, or else I guess we'll just pass in the value. Maybe that may be a better option over here, to be pass in the bool of the value, in case we don't want to do in this way over here. So let's pass in the value over here itself, and I guess that should be the function that we require. We have a function to get the list of the to-dos, and we have the function to refetch it, get the single to do, and we have function to update it, and we have function to delete it, right? And other than that, that should be fine. So I guess that's all for this lesson. We'll meet up in the next lecture. Till then, have a great day.